I never thought I would become this person, the one who carried the weight of a monumental lie, the one who shattered a foundation built on trust and love. I used to look at others who strayed, who broke their sacred vows with a mix of pity and judgment, never imagining I could walk a similar path. My life with Alex was supposed to be my forever, my unwavering constant, a storybook romance that simply continued its gentle unfolding into eternity. Our beginning was a blur of passionate intensity, a connection so profound, it felt destined. We shared everything. Our wildest dreams, our silliest fears, our deepest desires. We spent hours just talking, losing ourselves in each other, a bond so strong it seemed unbreakable. We built a home together filled with laughter, with shared meals, with the echoes of our favorite songs. Our apartment was a sanctuary, a testament to our shared journey, a place where we felt safe and loved. He was my rock, my confidant, my future, a man whose kindness knew no bounds, whose patience with me was endless. I truly believed we had it all. But somewhere along the way, the colors of our shared canvas began to fade. It was not a sudden, violent storm, but a slow, insidious, creeping fog that enveloped us. We stopped making time for the small, thoughtful gestures, the spontaneous dates, the deep, meaningful conversations about our souls, our ambitions, our true feelings. Our days became a routine, a predictable rhythm of work, home, dinner, sleep. We were two ships passing in the night, sharing a harbor, but never truly docking. The intimacy, both physical and emotional, dwindled, replaced by a comfortable silence that eventually felt more like an empty void. I started to feel unseen, unheard. A forgotten melody in a grand symphony. Alex was busy with his career, driven and focused, and I admired that about him. But it also meant he was often absent in spirit, even when he was physically present. I longed for the spark, the excitement, the feeling of being truly desired that had once been so vibrant. Between us, I felt myself slowly shrinking, becoming a smaller version of who I once was, losing my own light in the shadow of our routine. Then James arrived, a new colleague at the marketing firm. He was different. He had an infectious energy, a way of looking at me that made me feel like the most fascinating person in the room. He listened with such intensity, asking follow-up questions, remembering details about my childhood, about my passions that I had barely mentioned. He made me laugh, a genuine, unrestrained laugh I had not experienced in what felt like years. He saw the vibrant woman I used to be, or perhaps the woman I secretly still yearned to be. He made me feel alive again, visible, captivating. It began innocently enough, just lunch breaks filled with lively conversation, then coffee runs that stretched into an hour-long discussions about our projects, our lives, our dreams. The lines blurred slowly, almost imperceptibly. The boundaries shifted. I found myself looking forward to seeing him each day, my heart fluttering with an unfamiliar excitement, a dangerous thrill. I knew it was wrong. I knew I was venturing into treacherous territory, but I felt powerless to stop the growing connection. It was like a thirst I had not realized I possessed. And James offered me the sweetest, most forbidden water. The guilt was a heavy shroud that covered me constantly, a silent scream echoing in my mind every time I returned home to Alex. Every time he smiled at me with his trusting eyes, I felt like a fraud, a thief, a betrayer. The joy I felt with James was always tainted by this pervasive sense of wrongness, of moral failure. Yet the allure of feeling wanted, of feeling seen, was too strong to resist. It was an emotional addiction, a desperate grasp for something I thought was missing from my life. The first physical touch was an accident of circumstance. A late night at the office working on a big presentation. The exhaustion, the shared accomplishment, the dimmed lights. We were alone. The air was thick with unspoken emotions. He reached out his hand, gently brushing mine. A current shot through me. Then his gaze locked with mine, and in that moment the world outside our small office ceased to exist. He leaned in, his lips soft and tentative against mine. It was a moment of profound confusion, a mix of euphoria and terror. I pulled away, my heart hammering against my ribs, a desperate drumbeat of conflicting emotions. I whispered that I could not do this, that I was with someone, that it was wrong. He understood. He said he had felt the connection too. He said he knew I was not happy. He said he would never ask me to choose, but he could not deny what he felt. For me, that conversation only complicated things further. It opened a door I should have kept firmly shut. It gave me an excuse, a justification for my wavering loyalty. It fed into the narrative I was building in my head, that it was not entirely my fault, that something fundamental was missing from my primary relationship. The stolen moments became more frequent, more intimate secret lunches, secret messages, secret glances across the office, a carefully constructed web of deception. I became a master of alibis, of evasive answers, of convincing smiles when my heart was screaming with anxiety and guilt. I lived a double life, a constant tightrope walk between the two worlds I had created for myself, one built on history and comfort, the other on thrill and novelty. I started to resent Alex for the space that had grown between us. I blamed him for the emotional distance, for not fighting for our connection, for not noticing my growing unhappiness. I made him the villain in my mind to ease the burden of my own complicity, my own active participation in the betrayal. It was a cowardly act. I know, a desperate attempt to deflect my own responsibility. But in the throes of my guilt and confusion, it felt like a necessary mental exercise to survive the day. The thrill of the secrecy, the adrenaline rush of almost being caught, was intoxicating at times. It felt like a dangerous game I was playing and winning, but the victories were hollow. Each lie, each secret deepened the chasm between who I pretended to be and who I truly was. I saw the kindness in Alex's eyes, the unwavering trust, and a wave of pure self-loathing would wash over me. I was systematically destroying the most precious thing in my life without him even knowing it. A silent bomb ticking beneath our seemingly peaceful existence. The explosion came, as it always does when dealing with such volatile materials. It was a quiet evening. Alex and I were on the couch watching an old movie. A comfortable silence had settled between us, almost peaceful, a temporary truce from the unspoken tensions. My phone vibrated with a message, a simple "Hey, thinking of you" from James. A message meant for my eyes alone, a message that should never have been visible. Alex, without a second thought, casually picked up my phone to check the time, as he often did. And there it was, emblazoned on the screen for him to see, his face changed in an instant. The easy smile fading, replaced by a flicker of confusion, then dawning realization, then profound, heartbreaking pain. He did not speak. He did not yell. He just looked at the message. Then slowly at me, his eyes filled with a disbelief so potent it felt like a physical blow to my chest. He knew the silence that followed was deafening, heavy, with the weight of my betrayal, of our shattered future. I tried to explain. I tried to apologize. I tried to rationalize my actions with a torrent of words about feeling lost, about the distance. about the loneliness. But my words felt hollow, pathetic, even to my own ears, a desperate attempt to mend something irrevocably broken. I saw his world crumble before my very eyes, the trust disintegrate, the love turn to ash. His voice, when it finally came, was a mere whisper. "What is this?" He asked, his gaze never leaving mine, accusing, raw, devastated. He stood up slowly, mechanically, as if each movement required immense effort. He walked into our bedroom and started packing a small bag. I watched him, my throat tight, my eyes burning with unshed tears. He did not scream, he did not curse. He just moved with a quiet dignity, a profound sadness that cut me deeper than any harsh word could have. He left without another word, leaving me alone in the oppressive silence of our once loving home, now a tomb of broken promises. The emptiness that followed was a physical ache, an unbearable weight that settled in my chest. The apartment felt vast and hollow, filled only with the ghosts of our laughter, of our shared dreams, of our beautiful past. I had lost him. I had lost my best friend, my partner, my future, everything I had worked so hard to build, and for what? For fleeting moments of false comfort, for a temporary escape from my own inability to communicate my needs. James tried to be there for me. He offered solace. He expressed his regret for the pain I was experiencing. But the magic was gone. The moment the truth came out. The stolen moments that once felt exhilarating now felt dirty and tainted. The foundation of our connection was built,